Good afternoon, everyone. This is Bernd Giels coming to you once again from beautiful Cape Cod. And yes, it is still Monday, August 3rd. I decided to do one final episode today before completing my day of recording content. This episode is the beginning of another sub-series that I decided to begin recently. And the inspiration for this new series, which I call The Book of Love, came to me recently when I was speaking to one of my family members. Tragically, one of my most beloved aunts, my Aunt Carol, passed away in November of last year. My Aunt Carol was a very dear woman who was exceedingly generous with her energy and her time and her money. And I don't think there is a single cousin that I have in my dad's family who would argue otherwise with that. And so the other day I was talking to my aunt, and she shared a story with me that I had never heard before. And it might seem ironic or strange, but it really inspired me and it touched my heart in a way that I had not felt my heart touched in quite a while. And what she told me was that when I was a very small child and my aunt and her husband, one of my uncles, were still living in the house that I first remembered them living in when I was a little kid, my Aunt Carol would obviously spend time at the house as well, as she lived in the same part of Texas where my dad and my uncle and my uncle's wife, my other aunt, lived. She would spend time at the house, and she would also spend time taking care of me. And this is something that she did long after I was a baby as well. She did that through the time I was in elementary school, high school, college, and beyond. So my aunt told me about how when I was a little kid, apparently my Aunt Carol accidentally knocked my head against the very, very old school phone, this antique phone that my Aunt Lois had in their house in Irving, Texas, where they lived. And I found it really amusing to hear that because, for one, I have no memory of it. I was so small that there was no way I would have remembered it, unless maybe I had had my head smacked against this phone so hard that it would leave an indelible memory. So there was no way I was going to remember it. And I also just found it both amusing and consoling because it kind of speaks to the tenderness of that moment in a person's life when you're that much in need of the love and care and tender touch of other people when you're a little child. And it's an interesting experience just to have been given this new memory that is not one of my own memories. It's not something that I witnessed. Well, I witnessed it in a sense, but I don't remember what happened because I was a little kid. But it's interesting to have a family member that loves you and cares about you share a fond memory that they have, and in doing so, give you another bright point of light to put into your own mind and your own heart, such that you feel inspired and loved and wistful. It's an amazing thing to be given a memory like that I can hold on to now as another point in time in my own life in which I was held, in which I was loved and cared for. And I know that part of why it touches me so much to have heard that now is because this is such a horribly difficult time for so many people. It's so difficult because so many of us can't be held right now in the ways that we want to be. the social distancing that we've been asked to follow as a way of reducing the spread of the coronavirus, while effective, creates other burdens. And those burdens for some people are not small. To go without human touch, to not have someone that loves you be able to hold you, to hug you, to even hold your hand, can be a very painful thing to endure. And it can be even more painful to endure when, as in the present case, you don't know how long it's going to go on. And that is part of what makes living through this moment in time, this pandemic, so challenging, so painful, so bitter for so many people, both Americans and people throughout the world. We don't know when this is going to end. And so to have something come to me like a small memory of a moment that happened so many years ago, to have something that precious be recounted to me by a still living family member, it warmed my heart in such a profound way that for the rest of that day after I heard that, it was as if I was kind of walking on air. Even though my aunt died some months ago, it was as if I was living in that memory that I don't even have from my own experience that was given to me from my aunt, living in that memory throughout the day, calling forth a visualization of what that must have been like to be held by my aunt, not the bonking of the head against the phone, but just to have that loving image in my mind was such a source of consolation and inspiration that it lifted me. It buoyed me through the whole day. And that experience gave me the inspiration to start this additional sub-series. This is going to be probably the most organic series that I do on here. And the focus of this sub-series, which I'm going to call The Book of Love, is just going to be a series of videos in which I talk about things that I love for the purpose of inspiring you, my viewers, to reflect upon the things that you love. And in so doing, in inspiring contemplation and calling forth memory of things that you love, I hope that this portion of my channel's content will give you some solace during this very difficult time. Sometimes it's something nothing more than a memory that gives us the strength to go on each day. I'm reminded of another movie that I watched for the first time many years ago that I found so profound because it spoke to me on so many levels. And that movie is the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks and Helen Hunt. And I won't go into the details of the plot here, but suffice to say, in that movie, it's the power of memory, among other things, that makes that movie special. The power of one person's ability to hold a memory in your heart, in his heart. The ability to hold a memory that sustains you, that literally gives you life, that gives you the willingness and the strength to go on day after day in a hard period of time. And so what I want this particular sub-series to be is a source specifically of inspiration. So in future episodes, I will be talking about things that I love, things that give me hope and light up my heart. And I encourage you, my viewers, to watch and follow along. And what I'm going to do is, for the first time, be very diligent with my time and keep these particular episodes to 10 minutes. So I got 9 seconds left. Thank you for watching this. I will post more content of this new series in the near future. You all have a wonderful day.